This may be the most important video that I have recorded so far. Before you make your next business move, watch this entire video. I'm going to talk to you like I talk to the inner circle members that I have who pay thousands of dollars a year to join, and that is capped at 100 people lifetime. I'm going to talk to you like I talk to my family and my friends when we're talking about how to move forward, how to get unstuck, and the very, very tactical things that I have learned from working with, teaching, studying from, interviewing, partnering with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of brilliant people. They could be millionaires, they could be broke, but they all have something in common, which is that they're brilliant. And I woke up this morning, it's a Monday morning right now, and I woke up and I realized that this channel is about making money 100%. And I have more than 400 videos right now where you can learn everything there is to know about making money. And this video will be about making money. So you want to stick around. But there are some core things that I have taken away from these conversations. I have Zoom conversations every week. I have dozens of them. And they are packed, they're filled with information that would help other people. And I just want to share some of that with you. If you're ready to learn from me, if you're ready to dig in with me, grab a beverage. This is going to be a deep dive conversation. And it's going to be a little different than the other videos that I do. It won't be for everyone. Not everybody is going to enjoy this video. I may even lose some subscribers, but I think it's so important. And if you watch this video, especially if you watch the entire video, I really, I, I sincerely believe it can change everything for you. The first thing I want to talk about is the scarcity mindset that I often encounter from people. And thankfully, it's been a few decades since I had a scarcity mindset. And what I mean by scarcity mindset versus abundant mindset is that sometimes people think very, very little of themselves, of the world, of other people, of their potential, things like that. And sometimes that translates into I won't I won't be able to do it. I won't be able to reach a dream. So I'm not even going to try. And it also turns into I have so little that I cannot let go of this little bit because it's all I have and it's all I'll ever have. Whereas when you have an abundance mindset, you think there is more for me. There is always more for me available. I just have to tap into it. I just have to seek it out and have it seek me out. And I have an abundance mindset. Sometimes that looks like, pie in the sky, mind just going crazy, thinking of what is possible. But I wouldn't have it any other way. It's extremely positive and optimistic way to live, even though it is delusional sometimes. And as we know, our friend Callum Johnson says, stay delusional. I said that on his podcast. I say that I've been intentionally delusional for most of my life, and it has gotten me very far. It has created opportunities for me. And I've had so many downs. Don't get me wrong. I have invested in more than 200 companies. I have 3 books out. I mean, I have my book behind me and I have my new book. I'm trying to not to show everything. I have my new book. I have my other book behind me. It's about damn time. I've been on the cover of Fast Company. I've been on the cover of Black Enterprise. I've had so many great things happen in my career that I'm proud of, but there's been more downs than ups. Come on. I mean, I hope you know that. And what has continued to lift me back up is the abundance mindset. What that also means is that I don't feel like I have to step on anybody else in order to win. So when I work with people or when I look at people and they have success. I see something on social, like on Instagram, or I see a news clip or something of my peers or someone I don't know, of a stranger. I'm only happy for them. It's a genuine reaction that happens when you have an abundance mindset, when you have that clarity of just because they have it doesn't mean that I don't get to have it. And it's also important to know that my time will come, and the energy and the effort and the strategy that I put into something also produces the results that I want. These things that, if you think through internally, will change everything. I think of a couple of examples, one that happened just a couple of days ago and one that happened years ago. The one that happened years ago was, I was on a trip. I was broke. It was years ago. I didn't have any money. And I was on a trip with one of my friends, and we were driving from San Diego to Los Angeles back home. And on the way up, another of our friends, our mutual friends, said, "Hey, stop by our new house. We have a new house and we want you to see it." And I knew that that friend probably had a really beautiful home because they had a lot of money in their family. And I was like, "Sure, yeah." And I was driving. So I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." So I pulled up to the house, and my friend, when we got there, my friend just looked at me and she said, "I can't go in." And I said, "Why? What's wrong?" And she said, "I would be too jealous and I don't want to go in because I can't have that." And I just couldn't believe what I heard. And remember, I was broke at the time. I didn't have anywhere close to any kind of money. I was barely scraping by. And this home was more than $1 million home, maybe $5 million home. It was a beautiful home. But I was like, I'm going to go look at that house so I can see if I like it, see if I want something like it. It was always this open to experimenting and experiences. It was always open to seeing someone else do well, because of course I was going to do well one day. Of course I was. There was no question in my mind. And I think these are the conversations I have with people who are millionaires, people who are friends, or people who are just reaching out to like help me. And the reason they reach out to help me without any strings attached is because I have helped so many other people and they see that. So the second story is about, like, it was more recent, just happened last week, but it's more about like when you put something out into the world and you let go a little bit, it comes back to you. I just truly believe this. I've seen it happen over and over and over again. I uh I spent money on something as a gift for someone. I'll just leave it at that. I spent money on a gift, and the money was a lot of money. And I did it without any strings attached, without wanting anything in return. And I did it because I thought it's going to put a smile on that person's face. And it's also, I want to, this is my money. I want to do that. The same day, like within like 2 hours, I made a sale online that was 2.5 times that amount. And it wasn't something I had been pursuing. It was someone out of the blue, and it happened. And I just looked at it and I was just smiled to myself because I said, yeah, that's how it goes. That's usually how it goes. It's like I was that was just, it was going to come back to me somehow. And that was just the way it was. So it's this open abundance mindset that I encourage you to have. And I know where it comes from, where you don't have it. I know where that comes from. And I'm sorry that someone has made you believe that other people cannot be trusted or you can't be trusted. I know what you're coming from with that. But if you want your circumstances to change, if you want your life to be different, if you want your bank account to look different, to have more in it than it has now, no matter what that number is, then you have to do different things. You have to have a different mindset. You have to ask for more and think of more and be more in order to receive more. It's just what it is. Now, if that resonates with you, let me know in the comments. This entire video, I highly recommend that you talk to me in the comments as you go along, even if your question is answered as we go along here. Ask the question, send the comment, And make sure that you're subscribed, because if this video so far, and we've just gotten started, if this video is helping you so far to think through some things, I would love for you to be a subscriber, and I would love for you to get notifications. You can put the bell notification. So you hit the subscribe button below. You would get notifications of my future videos, and we're going to keep making and stacking this money so that you can have more freedom and time, to live. That's what I want for you. I want you to have power as well. That speaking of having more money and making more money, generating more, sometimes this is something else that I have come across multiple times, is that sometimes people, whether they're making 5,000 a month, 1,000 a month, or 20, 30, 40,000 a month, the conversations that I'm having with my inner circle members or my mastermind members or people who reach a certain level in Arlan's All Access after posting a certain amount of time, they get a free call with me. The conversations I have with them is that it turns out, like, more than 50% of the time, that they are not charging enough of their value. Like, they're charging so little because of a couple of reasons, main reasons. One of them is that they believe that they know what their audience can afford as a whole, and therefore they're just right there. They're unwilling to charge more because they don't want to be seen as greedy, as gouging. Totally get that. Another reason is that they don't believe that they personally are worth charging more. And I mean anywhere from $5 to $5,000 an hour, right? They don't believe that they're worth it, or they don't believe that their audience can afford it. When it comes to their audience affording something, there's a couple ways I think of that. One way is I have a video where I say, like, sell to rich people, basically. And I say this because you want to be able to do whatever you'd like with your audience. You'd like to be able to serve any way you want. And a great way to do that is to charge what you're worth to people who can afford it. So they can tell you they can afford it by paying you. And then for anyone who can't afford you, you give them a different version of the same information and service, but you do it at scale as a group. So I'll give you a very clear description of this. I often tell people, and this is kind of a light bulb moment for them, I say, they'll tell me, oh, I only charge $100 for this service. It should be like $1,000, but I charge $100 because I want more people to be able to afford it. So I say to them, okay, sell it to 20% of the number of people. Like, cut it in, don't, cut it where you make more, you make 2x, but charge $1,000 if it's worth $1,000. If the transformation you're giving someone is worth $1,000, charge that. If the product, of the service, any of it is worth it, charge $1,000. Find the people who are willing to pay that. You notice I didn't say who can afford it, but who are willing to pay that. And then for the people who cannot afford it or not willing to pay it, well, mostly the people who cannot afford it truly, then on a Friday, every Friday, give a free workshop that they get to sign up for. And you teach them how to do a lot of this on their own, or you teach them some behind the scenes stuff. And it can be as quality as the $1,000 thing. It's just you're not going to implement it as closely. Because that way you're able to sustain by being able to pay for what you're able to pay for, paying your needs and more. And that way you get to make, decisions and do things with your own money and time. And you're not this martyr who is just like falling on their sword, can't afford anything, and nobody gets served. Second part of it is, I didn't say the people who can afford it. I say, kind of a shorthand, sell to rich people. What I'm really saying is, you can't just assume what someone can afford or what someone is willing to pay for. I have made this mistake many times where I have assumed what someone can afford, and then I'll see that they actually paid a lot more for something else that was similar to what I offer. I just didn't offer it to them because I assumed they couldn't afford it. But right now, There's something that you would move mountains to afford. There's something that you would move money around to afford. And my job and your job as the person making the offer is to make the offer. Your job is to let people know that it exists as an offer. Your job is not, and my job is not to assume what someone else can afford and assume that they won't pay it. I don't like at all aggressive sales tactics that try to tell you to mortgage your house or to take out a loan. I hate that, honestly, if I'm being completely honest. And there's some people in my world who do that. And don't think that I'm coming after anybody in particular because I don't know what everybody does. I just am thinking of a couple of people who are I'm not close to. And that is not what I'm saying. I'm not saying to like, it's worth it at all costs to work with you. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying meet in the middle. Don't lowball it. Don't make it bargain basement. Is your transformation for someone, is your help for someone bargain basement? Is it a blue light special sale if you're old school with the Kmart? Is it old school? Is it discounted? Anybody can have it. If that's the case, I want you to rethink your offer. Yours is not bargain basement. Yours is valuable. Now that can mean that it costs $5 or it costs $5,000. It doesn't mean that there's a certain number that is more elite than the other. It just means that sometimes you're giving away stuff for free that shouldn't be free. And sometimes you're giving away stuff for a lot less than what it's worth because you think that's the right thing to do. And it very well may be the right thing to do in your circumstances. But more times than not, what I have seen is that people are selling themselves short. And they're doing a disservice for the person on the other end of that who does need that offer. One way to think about how you can price your offer and get your value is to do things at the beginning for free or discounted in order to get your reps in, to get better at it, to get information, to get data, to get feedback and testimonials. And as every time you sell it, especially if it's a one-on-one thing or a package or something like that, sell it for slightly more. Sometimes I'll say every single time, sometimes I say sell it for 3 times for a certain amount and then raise your price. See where that is. If you raise your price and then nobody buys it, come back down a little bit. You're testing out your pricing. But the worst thing you can do, in my opinion, when it comes to pricing is to think I'm doing someone else a favor by making it so cheap. I get a lot of people who reach out to me and say, I can't afford to be in all access. I can't afford to be in your inner circle. Do you do this, that, and the other? Do you have payment plans for all access? So I do, by the way, have payment plans now by PayPal at arlansallaccess.com, arlansinnercircle.com, arlansyoutube arlansmastermind.com. All of those have payment plans in the description that link off to PayPal. But when someone comes to me and says, hey, I can't afford it, or someone else says, this person can't afford it, I either say, do you want to buy it for them if you're concerned? Or I say, I have so much free information out there between my YouTube channel and my podcasts and everything that I've done over the past few years. I have I have three $20 books. Between all of that, that information is what's meant to help them level up to the point where they can afford it. Because if I just took everything to the bottom, everything to nothing, none of us would win. And so it is why so many people have had success in my programs is that they aspire for more. There are people who have spent months in all access. They pay $600 a year. They make a few $1,000s and then they join Inner Circle. And then they make even more because they aspired to it. Now, if I just gave it away for free, who knows what effort they might put in? Who knows what incentive they might have? So when you're thinking through your pricing and your value, these are very important distinctions. Think through how it might be harmful to your audience and to your customers to put them in a box and to give them a limited scarcity mindset. The next thing I want to talk about And again, let me know in the comments if this is resonating with you. In each section that we talk about, tell me if it's resonating so I know what I can speak about in the future on these videos, because I do want to have more in-depth videos like this. And let me know if you want those. If you don't, let me know like this was good enough or I'm still with you. Let me know I'm ready. I'm still with you. Post it so I know that you're still here. We can do a code word right now. Let's see. Green, Green. Green is the code word. If you're watching this exact moment, type the word green and I'll know that you were here. And that's awesome. Okay. The next thing I want to talk about is the overcoming the fear of being seen. Now, remember to subscribe if you're not subscribed, because if you subscribe, more people will see this video, more people will get help, and more people, and that my channel will grow, and I can do even more every single video for you. Do you have a fear of being seen? What I mean by that is like there are so many brilliant people I talk to who are just, when I'm looking at them, when I'm talking with them, I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish the world knew these people. I wish they knew them. But they think there's something wrong. They think that like they're anxious, right? They don't want to be out there, and they think that they don't like their voice, or they don't like their looks, or this or that, or their equipment isn't great, so it's not this beautiful kind of polished situation. What I'm talking about going on YouTube, and that's like the major one. It's like YouTube is so powerful. YouTube is so powerful, and it's such a game changer for you. And if the reason you're not doing YouTube, which is a free platform, the reason you're not doing it is because you're worried about how you sound or look, or it won't be this or that, or you're worried about how somebody else might think of you who knows you. Those things, I hear that all the time. And I say, are you allergic to money though? Are you allergic to money? Say, I'm not allergic to money. Put that in the comments if you're not allergic to money. Because this is something that has been proven over and over again to be helpful to people. And that's not just YouTube, it's just being out there in the world, building a personal brand, something that I teach in All Access with great clarity. Building a personal brand, it's not about being famous. It's not about having a flex and having certain numbers. It's about telling your audience and your potential customers who you are, what you want them to know, what message you have, and what you offer. We just have never, ever been in a position that we are right now for anybody, almost anybody with Wi-Fi, with a laptop or a phone, to be able to reach strangers who might need what they have to offer. If one of your things is like, oh, I don't like advertising, I don't like being in people's faces, well, there is advertising in the world and that's not going away. So wouldn't you rather you take the place of some of that consumption? If the same thing can be true about the videos that are out there that you've seen, you're like, oh, in my space, I see all these salesy people. I don't like that. Well, this is the moment that you can be an alternative to that. That's the breakthrough that I want people to see is like all the excuses that I hear. I always have an answer of, well, why don't you be the solution to that? If that's a problem to you, why don't you become part of the solution to it? Instead of saying, I'm not going to contribute to what is bad in the world by adding more to it, thinking through what are you actually adding? You're adding a positive spin to it. You're adding a less salesy spin to it. You're adding like more credibility potentially to something. And if it's already out there and there are a lot of people who are doing it, you're giving your take on it. Somebody's going to be looking for your vibe. I'll give you an example. Sometimes people watch my videos. They tell me that they stopped on my videos. They watched it all the way through because I'm not yelling at them like a lot of people in my lane. Again, I'm not judging. I'm just telling you what I've been told. So the people who want high energy and bouncing around and jump cuts and all of that, they're not necessarily looking for me or happy when they find me. But that's okay because I am able to attract a certain group that is like, I'd like to just listen to you. I'd like to just listen along, learn something, get the information that I need. That is what is possible for you. So it's baby steps. You don't have to go out there with the full media team from day one. You can gradually start to get your message out. Start to put small videos out. We had a 5-day challenge in our Your First 5K membership, which is just $9 for the first 1,000 people. I think we're going to reach that very soon, but then it'll just be just a little bit more per month. But we had a 5-day challenge. We talked about how you could slowly, very specifically, what you could record on your phone and put out into the world. And that starts to establish you as being someone who has a, opinion. You're essentially sharing your opinion and your point of view with more people. It doesn't have to be with the world, doesn't have to be with hundreds of thousands of people. It can be with just a few people. And that would make an entire difference to your company. And if you're sitting there and you're like, my company is not growing, in fact, it's shrinking, it could be your growth could be on the other side of doing a few videos. And if that's even 10% true or 20% true, isn't it worth experimenting? So that's why I teach about YouTube so much, because it's just so, it's such low hanging fruit and it's so low risk to try it. And then you can say you hate it, but just try it first. See if you can put 30 videos out into the world on YouTube over a 3-month period and see if it doesn't change everything for you. Now, it's not going to happen the first video and the second video and the third video. They're just going to sit there. But you're going to learn every single video, and there's going to be a video that resonates with people if you keep doing it. Let me know in the comments if you're going to give YouTube a try or if you have been giving it a try, because I would really be interested to know what percentage of the viewership here is truly, seriously thinking about YouTube. We have the YouTube accelerator inside of Your First 5K. By the way, the links to almost everything I'm talking about are in the description. If it's not in the description, I did spell it out. But we have YouTube accelerator in there because I wanted to be just so attainable for so many people. You don't have to even pay me a penny to join YouTube, to start a YouTube channel, have a successful YouTube channel. Just look through my videos. I have an entire Bandersnatch Netflix kind of video series about YouTube. Did you catch that, by the way? Okay, if you watched a few years ago, Netflix put out a special of Black Mirror called Bandersnatch. And you could click through, and it was like a name your own adventure. So every few scenes, you would get a choice. Do you want to go A or B? And then that would turn into another option. So I recreated something like that with my YouTube videos, where you can go. So just look up my name and YouTube training. Oh, actually, you know what it is? If you go to itsaboutdamntime.com, that takes you to the front page of my YouTube channel. And that video that plays, I think for most people, is going to be that first video. Another example is the Kimmy Schmidt special that did on Netflix. If you haven't seen these, by the way, they're fun. Go to Netflix. They have Kimmy Schmidt special and Bandersnatch. They probably did more, but they're really fun because there's thousands of results. So it's like 1 2-hour video, but it's thousands of results. In my case, I did a mapping of it. And there are at least 7,200, I think it said at least 7,200 ways you could watch this video. So you're getting a very customized video training for YouTube that is very specific about your needs. So go check it out and let me know. You can just pause this video if you want and check it out, or just make a note to yourself. But make sure you come back because there's more for this video and I don't want you to miss it. Another topic that I have spent a lot of time talking to my high ticket, high paying clients is stepping into their own leadership. A lot of the clients are extremely successful and seasoned, but don't consider themselves a leader. And they also consider themselves, in their words, to be playing small. They're not taking that ownership of, I can lead, I can do more. And that goes back to the abundance mindset. So that's, if you're launching a project, if you even just, it's about speaking up more, just using your voice and being more of a thought leader, more of someone who is a mentor. If you embrace those leadership roles, or those roles, it levels you up and it expands your influence. If you use me as a case study and you think about the little pieces of things that make what I do, make them happen, it's the network effect. It's like me connecting with a lot of people and then making connections for people. I'm the plug for a lot of people, right? It's that majorly, majorly. It is becoming someone who has influence over people. So what happens is behind the scenes, there are a lot of wealthy people, celebrities, people who are leaders who come to me and I teach them and I consult them. Sometimes it's public and sometimes more than not, it is very private because of who they are. And if you can influence the influencers, I mean, it's game over, right? Like it's like game changing for sure. So if you think about like, let's say you're in a career right now and you think about the players on the chessboard, who can you influence who has the power to influence others? And I don't mean manipulate. I don't mean to try to do any of that. I just mean who can you get the ear of? Who can you show and impress that they help you sort of spread your message faster than you could on your own. That's really what I mean. So when I'm quoted in more than a dozen books by other people. Crazy, right? I couldn't afford books 10 years ago. Like I was sleeping on the floor of an airport 10 years ago. And now I've been quoted in several books that are on my bookshelf. I have my own 3 books, as I mentioned. And you can get those books anywhere books are sold, and on Amazon and anywhere books are sold, independent bookstores. You can always go to those. You can buy them in bulk and stuff like that. But to be quoted by people who have audiences, that I think is like a major, major, major hack. Another thing, and if you're enjoying this video, first of all, thank you for still being here. Let's see, let's do another code word. Okay, water, WATER, because water's right in front of me. If you're still here, just type the word water as a comment. It lets me know that you're still here. Okay, water. And make sure you're subscribed. Have you subscribed yet? Let me ask you that before we go to the next one. Have you subscribed yet and you're not subscribed? If you have subscribed, thank you so much. It means the world to me. I gained more than 100,000 subscribers in 8 months on YouTube, which is pretty unheard of. And it's because of you. Like in the education space, it's really difficult to do. I'm not doing entertainment, where I can get a lot of subscribers fast. This is education and financial wellness, I guess, maybe. It's just about making money, basically, getting freedom and options. But to get that many subscribers that fast is really special, especially because for the most part, I don't do anything fancy. I'm just here on my Zoom in my home. So if you subscribe, it just helps the algorithm know that people are liking the video and it should be put out to more people. So the next thing I want to talk about is purpose over profit. Thinking about your mission-driven success. And that's because more than the majority of people I speak to have that. They focus on purpose over profit. And it's a powerful pattern that I have seen and has emerged in these conversations, these hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of conversations. I probably have at least 1,000 Zoom conversations a year, at least 1,000. Yeah, I think that's a good guess. And this has emerged. And so what that translates to is that instead of chasing quick sales and a cash grab, which I can't stand, they're thinking about the long term. And if you're thinking about the long term, oh, you can build for sustainability. You can build for forever. I had been thinking, I say at Backstage Capital, my venture firm that I founded, where we've invested in more than 200 companies. I say that I think in decades, not quarters, and that's true. But in December, I stepped down from managing the day to day to pursue more entrepreneurial things and put it in very good hands. And I'm still the main consultant there, and I bring in money and all that. But I personally had realized that I had been thinking in my 40s now. I've been thinking in like years, like 1 year, 2 year, 3 years out. And recently I started thinking 30 to 35 years out. And I got very excited about that. I got very excited about it because it means that something going wrong today doesn't mean much in the long run. That's okay, you know? But it also means that you have to think through like it's not just about getting $100 from this one person today. That's icky. It's about like what can we build together? What can I mean, I've seen this happen over the past decade where people constantly, as recently as last night, come up to me and tell me that I've helped them and maybe I helped them 5 years ago or 7 years ago or 2 years ago. And they're able to see what those seeds have, produced. But that's what I think about, like, oh my gosh, 35 years. I'll be 80. I'll be 80 in 35 years. And what in the next 3 years, what are people going to say to me? What do I want them to say? What headlines do I want, right? I talk about writing your own headlines. What do I want, not just headlines, what do I want individuals to say and know about me and think of me and have me in their mind when my name comes up? You want somebody to think of you in 5 years and think, oh, they'll do anything for money. Or do you want them to think, wow, they're so helpful. They were so helpful to me. And that doesn't mean that every single thing that you do has to be purpose and mission driven. I also think that some of our activism, our greatest activism as underrepresented, underestimated people, if that's who you are watching this, by the way, if you're not underrepresented, you probably have been underestimated. Okay, so that's everybody. But I think it's not just about doing things that are all mission driven, and we think we have to have a service, a servant leadership position. That's not always the case. It's if that's your vibe, that's your vibe. I also think some of our activism is just in succeeding audaciously and boldly and not being sad about it, not being guilty about it. It's like, oh, I'm successful. I'm a Black woman. I'm in my 40s. I'm in my 50s. I'm in my 60s, and I'm successful. I made more money and this is you talking, right? Say it out loud. Like, I made more money in 2025 than I made in the past 5 years combined. Don't you want to be able to say that? If you want to be able to say that, say so in the comments. Don't you want to be able to say that? We can't, it can't all be about how we serve other people. In that same vein, what I've seen a lot of people accomplish is turning setbacks into a comeback. Turning their lives into a Beyonce song or to a Destiny's Child song. They learn from their failures. We learn from our failures. We make it fuel for growth. There's a little petty too. I don't think there's anything wrong with being a little petty. Just don't let it sink you. I say that forgiveness is a productivity hack. If you like that, let me know in the comments. Forgiveness is a productivity hack. Because if you're over here thinking about somebody, mad at somebody, seething about somebody forever, and they're not even thinking about you, they're out there living their best life. And their best life is probably sad, if we're being honest. But you're over here like, they're blissfully ignorant. You're over here letting them have so much control of you. But if you let that go, or at least you don't have to forget. But if you forgive, if you don't want to forgive, then forget. You see what I'm saying? Choose one of the two. Either you forgive but don't forget, or you forget but don't forgive. You could do that, right? I know it's a little mental gymnastics, but I think it works out. I'm just saying, don't let it hold you back from just every beautiful thing that is waiting for you. And I put a video up on Instagram a couple of days ago where I talked about like taking negative feedback and analyzing negative feedback. This is what I do. I mean, I get a lot of negative feedback from different groups, and most of it is haterade. Most of it is just, I consider myself a job creator because I'm keeping these haters in business. But some of it is constructive criticism, or if it's not constructive criticism, it's enough of a pattern that I hear enough that I actually say, you know what, I'm going to take a look at that. 90% of it, I'm like, I'm not going to let that hold me back. But some of it, I'm like, oh, if more than 5 people have said this to me, let me see why they said that. Let me not take this so personally and kind of reflect on it and see if I can optimize. But either way, I'm always going to bounce back. I'm always going to get up. I'm always going to There's always going to be a comeback, a rising of the phoenix. And I see that in so many people like you that I speak with, that I talk to, that I get to hear from, not only in my one-on-ones I've been talking about, but in group sessions and the 5 day challenge and in my memberships. Like I see you, I read every comment, I read everything, and I'm blown away by the resilience. Like if we could bottle this resilience, all of us would be billionaires. It'd be crazy. Speaking of community, what I've learned about and have seen is the power of community when it comes to accountability. We have brand new accountability sessions every Monday inside of Arlan's All Access. And that's arlansallaccess.com. And the link is below as well in the description. And that is like my core membership where I teach you how to create a membership, create a community, a profitable one. I teach you all about YouTube, just launching YouTube, and so many people have done well there. And I teach you about sales with my colleague Colin Yearwood, who makes about $1 million a year himself in sales for himself and other people. And we just started at a Monday weekly accountability circle with Brenda Lynn, who's come in, and she's been in my ecosystem for years. She first came through. What I remember, she was one of the very first people who completed my Arlen's Academy in 2020, and then she came through and created a book club for my first book. It's About Damn Time, which she did virtually. She delivered that to my academy, which was amazing, like a whole curriculum. It was incredible. Then she came back for Arlen's All Access and did a book club for It's About Damn Time and Your First Million. And now she's doing these accountability circles for Arlen's All Access. And it's just my members and the conversations I've had that members discovered that they did not have to achieve alone. When they understood that they had the groups, like whether that's All Access or the Inner Circle or Mastermind or Your First 5K, it's like from $9 to $5,000, right? Like everybody can join. What they saw was that they could share their goals, their struggles, their wins with peers, and it helped to elevate them. If you're in any of these memberships and you're watching this, because many of you are, let me know in the comments if what I'm, reinforce what I'm saying, because I just see it every day. People think, someone actually said this to me. I can't remember who said it, but they said, I thought I was joining Inner Circle for Arlan, and it turns out I was joining it for the group itself. Like I'm still here, like they like me, but it was like 10 times more important to them after a few weeks, and they understood, oh, it's accountability and it's the group, it's the community. By the way, I'm going to use this opportunity to tell you what I think the three things you should focus on for the next 3 years. And I'm going to make an entire video about this, but I want you to have a sneak peek of it so that you can start implementing it right away. The three things, are you ready for the three things? Let me know in the comments if you're ready for the three things that I think you should focus on for the next 3 years. Let me know and I'll tell you. Okay, make sure you are subscribed. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe now. You can just hit the subscribe button below. You can also send this video out to somebody who you think needs to see it, especially if you have an audience. Send it in an email, let them know. If you're in one of my memberships, you can send it with an affiliate link and make money if people join. It's all good. Circular economy, as Aaron would say. Okay, the three things you should focus on are AI, YouTube, and community. If you get those three locked in, you will be very, very, very wealthy and very, I think, fulfilled and happy. AI, I'm not going too much of a tangent because I am going to make a whole video about it, but AI is in waves. Every single day I wake up, I learn more. So it's happening in absolute waves right now. It's no longer acceptable not to look at it and care about it. It's no longer acceptable to say, I don't get it. You have to start getting it. Even if it's baby steps, even if it's one thing that you learn a week, AI is like saying the internet. It's like if you were to say, "Oh, I don't get email. I don't understand email," or "I don't understand Wi-Fi or internet." Okay, you can be blissfully ignorant, but you're going to be left way behind. So it's okay. It's not too late to start. You just learn a little bit at a time. I have some AI videos. You can just search on YouTube. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world, second to its owner, Google. Did you know that? Let me know in the comments if you knew that or not. Speaking of YouTube for searching, YouTube, if you can be someone who teaches on YouTube or entertains on YouTube, I think it changes everything. You spend 1 year on your YouTube channel, I think it'll change your life forever, forever. If you spend a year solid, truly working on it, not just posting here and there and not learning anything, but truly working on it, I think it'll change your life. And then also use YouTube as that second largest search engine, as the place where you go to level up and learn and you're a consumer, but you're actually creating an entire college, YouTube University, they call it, right? It's a whole college custom made for you. It's an entire up leveling custom made for you. I don't even know what colleges. I think colleges are important today because of the community aspect, which is that third part, is because you want to have people that you can connect with. Now, community, why is community so important? It's that we talked about accountability earlier just now. Like it's this thing that makes people excited to get up in the morning. It's the thing that makes people feel like they belong. And it doesn't matter if you're a broke or a millionaire or anything in between, you are human. And as long as there are humans in this world, and we haven't all been taken over by robots, community will be so important. And what people are sleeping on, some people are talking about it, but most people are sleeping on this, which gives you a huge opportunity. If you have kind of slacked off, you're kind of over there, you're not listening to me, come back. Community gives you an edge. It gives you an advantage over the next 3 years. And I don't mean just 3 years. I just mean in these 3 years, if you focus on AI, YouTube, and community, it will level you up in a way that you cannot even imagine. Please play this video back in 3 years and tell me I was wrong. It will level you up in a way that you cannot fathom today. So you start bite-sized in each of these three. And I teach you how to do that in all of my memberships, especially All Access, where I teach you how to do community and YouTube. And then AI is just permeated throughout and will be more so very quickly. You'll see more AI from me than ever before. Okay. I got a little hype there, you know what I mean? Okay. Another thing I want to tell you about that has been a common theme that I'm very excited about is this late bloomer idea. So people in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and even 80s who have come into my ecosystem and have found ways to make more money for themselves, and at the very least to just have community and feel like they're part of something because they are. Not only are they getting something from it, but they're contributing to it. So the most popular group for me is 40 to 60 women, 40 years old to 60 years old women. Outside of that, we have men, we have women, all races and creeds and colors and all that. We have people who are younger, and then we have people who are older than 60. Older than 70. So this is so it's 40 to 60 is the main one. So older than 60, we have people outside of that. But to just see people coming into their own. I got to spend my Mother's Day with my mother. I'm so grateful for that over the weekend. And we went to a concert, Gladys Knight, Patti LaBelle, Shaka Khan, Stephanie Mills. It was amazing. Okay. We had front row tickets and my phone battery was dying. And I was like, oh, I got to get us an Uber back home. I need you to, I'm going to close my phone down, but I wanted to take video of her. So she said, what you need? And I said, well, my phone battery is dying. She said, oh, okay, hold on. She went through her purse. She pulled out this contraption, this wireless charger that I had never seen the shape of it, never before in my life. All the travels I do, all the people all the tech I've invested in. I've invested in 200 companies, most of it tech. Never seen this contraption. She just handed it to me and I was able to charge my phone on the spot. She's always at the front of these things, and we cannot overlook and we cannot discount the brilliance that comes from being seasoned. In fact, it would be foolish of us to think that we are smarter, that I at 44 am smarter than someone at 54 or 64. That would just be foolish of me to think. And not to just discount and just dismiss people over a certain age. So if you are 40 to 60 and even 60 plus, you absolutely have a place here. And I just have loved seeing people find their voice here. And it's not too late. That's a more important thing. I see people in their 30s talking about it's too late. In their 30s talking about it's too late. It's not too late. I've learned that investing in yourself is the biggest and best ROI, which means return on investment that you can have. This was a pivotal mindset shift for so many people that I have spoken with and have worked with and have interviewed. It happens over and over again where we have these conversations with the people who I know who are millionaires. I can't think of one that doesn't fall into this category. They all invest in themselves on a daily basis. So they all have coaches. They go to different conferences. Even if they're not speaking, they are part of groups. They're part of masterminds. They take courses like crazy. Like I take courses almost every weekend, whether they're free or paid. I'm studying every single day. And on the weekends, it's like next level. And they're pouring into themselves and they're saying, I'm worth it. I'm going to spend money on myself and time on myself and effort on myself because I am the investment. I am worth it more than anything else. And that's the common thread I've seen. And when I talk to people who are in my different programs and people who are not, what I tell them if they're feeling stuck is you got to look at your life and decide where you can make the best investment or make an investment to experiment. Doesn't mean spending a lot of money. It just means thinking of yourself first before giving to others. I know that sounds a little tough for some people. If that sounds tough to you, let me know in the comments. But that's what you have to do to be the best version of yourself, to be an elite athlete in this game of wealth making. You have to think of yourself. It's the very old adage of putting your own mask on a plane before you put it on someone else, 100%. But it's just really practical. If you get yourself set, you could do all kinds of things for other people. And what a lot of times we are surrounded by people who, unfortunately, either because they care about us a lot and they don't want to see us hurt, or they don't care about us and they want to see us fail, they will try to drag us down and bring us down to a peg, bring us down a peg to their level. And they're like, you can't do that. Or they try to shame you or guilt you for success or whatever. I used to have people say, what about the kids? And you should do this for free because the kids are involved. I'm like, they're not my kids. Those aren't my kids. I'm sorry, that made me laugh. Those aren't my kids. But what you don't see is me taking care of the 20 kids in the family that I'm going to take care of. Okay. But I'm going to take care of myself first so I can be able to do that and make that decision, make that determination of whose kids I'm going to take care of. It takes a village, but I'm not in your village. Okay. I can keep going with this mindset because I am a very happy childless auntie. It's one of my most proud moments of my life is realizing that I'm not going to have any kids on purpose. That's another story for another day. So if this is resonating, let me know what resonates with you the most so far. Make sure you are subscribed. And if you're not subscribed, ask yourself why you're not subscribed. Is it just too difficult to push the button, or if you forgot about it, or you're just so entranced? But either way, go ahead and subscribe. Let's make this the most subscribed video I've ever had. That would be really cool. That would be really cool. Let's make it the most subscribed video. Do not unsubscribe to subscribe, though, because that will be a very negative signal to YouTube. So listen, you don't need a massive audience to make real money. 20 people can change your life if you get dialed in to that offer. If you dial in. I have some videos coming out soon that'll show you some great evidence of that. Just straight up like, oh, I made an entire salary from 20 people being engaged in what I do. Community, focusing on value, not volume. So don't worry about like, oh, I got to start a YouTube channel. It means I have to like get in front of thousands of people have to like me. No, they don't. If you can get 20 people, 30 people engaged, that's going to be shifting for you. I also know that your first dollar changes everything for you. So it's not just about high ticket offers or making hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars. Even though it's first million, it starts somewhere. I have a $9 membership that made me $20,000 in 23 days. If that stopped you in your tracks, let me know in the comments. I'm going to make a video about that. I have a $9 per month membership that made me $20,000 in 3 days. If you want me to tell you every single step of the behind the scenes of that, let me know in the comments. You just need a first win. You just need the first dollars in. Once you learn how to make the first dollars in, we saw Dion in a video recently where she talked about she hadn't made any money online. And then she all of a sudden made hundreds of dollars online. And it's changed everything in her mindset because she's like, oh, I can do it. So now I shall. I shall do it. And you're probably sitting on $1,000 offer right now. You don't even realize it. Most of the members that I have underestimate their value, but not for long. Remember that you do not need permission to lead. You just need a plan. And we talked about this in the 5-day challenge. Most people think that they'll get ready. If they wait long enough, they'll get ready to do the thing. But the readiness is on the other side of action. This is really important. Readiness happens after you start. It does not necessarily happen before you start. So if you're waiting to be ready, you're going to wait a long time. You start and readiness follows. So you don't need permission to start. Especially women over 40. The clarity comes from doing and not waiting. Community is more important than algorithms. Even on YouTube, like the comments that you all make that I get to read every single one of because I approve them or not, that's community building. That's going to be way more important than any algorithm that YouTube figured out. Because when I meet some of you in the streets, in events and on the plane and this and that, when you tell me that something that I said helped you, that's what it is. So you can have 100 loyal people watching you on YouTube, and that's worth way more than 1,000 people or 10,000 people watching you who don't really care to come back. So I just need you to know that. I need you to believe that. Who's going to try? Let me know if you're going to try YouTube. Let me know if you're going to give it a try this year. And you think about your positioning of your offer. Think about your messaging. We're going to talk all about that in some videos to come up, but I could help you make more money online. I can help you make your first dollars online in these YouTube videos. If you want to, like I'll teach you in these YouTube videos. If you want to fast track it, just join one of my memberships and you'll learn so much more in the first 24 hours alone. And I have your first 5K because I know that you can make $5,000 just teaching one thing that you already know. And you may not believe that, but I'm seeing it happen in real time. And it's only been 3+ weeks that we've been open. Nobody is coming to save you, but you can still win. Nobody is coming to save you, but you can still win. And here's the most important thing. Most people quit too early. Most people stop right before it's going to get good. Most people don't believe in themselves enough to wait till the ROI, the return on investment, the compounded interest, all those words, but they mean something. So if you are truly wanting to change your life, you have to change your perspective. And I'm so honored that I get to help you do that in many, many ways, including YouTube, my memberships, my books, my live events, and hopefully my example.